to immigration,
course.
100%. So I actually really sympathize with people who were furious over what happened with immigration under the Biden administration. At the same time, I don't think most Americans who think of themselves as hardliners on immigration realize just how integrated undocumented immigrants are in our society, right? And I'm talking about people who have been here for literally decades, who do pay taxes, but don't get the benefits that come along with the, various public programs that they're funding through their taxes. And there needs to be a better solution than swinging from one extreme to another on this topic. And the thing that I am the most furious about, honestly, is Congress. Congress is the most useless branch of our government at the moment. I'm not saying it's unnecessary. I think it's an important part of our government. But over the last few decades, we both know Congress has ceded much of their power to the executive branch as it pertains to foreign policy. Big mistake.
That's been going on for 70 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Congress is supposed to be the most important branch of government. That's what the Constitution says, for
They're
sure.
the ones who are supposed to write the bills and pass the bills.
Power of the purse, power of declaring war. The president is just the guy who is supposed to carry it out. He executes it. He's the top executive. But he's like, you hire a CEO to run your company. Right. But he's not the dude. He's carrying out what the guy who owns Starbucks is his vision.
Right.
Okay. That is, as you say, completely lost. And the only, I did a piece a few weeks ago about the Supreme Court being the last line of defense here. We're going to see what they're going to say about tariffs, like whatever you think about tariffs.
They have to strike it down.
It's a congressional thing.
Yes.
And so, like, these kind of basic things, I'm not completely pessimistic about how the court is going to rule. The Supreme Court does have the ability to surprise you.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes they take a hip pill and get it right. Not always, and they have certainly gotten a lot more conservative over the years. But I'm not going to with all Trump stuff, I said this time I'm not going to do it like the first term. Like, when it happens, maybe I'll get upset if it's the thing that is worth getting upset about and talking about and critiquing, and I never pull a punch on that. But I don't give a shit about the ballroom. And if you do, it's just an indication that Trump is much too part of your personality. It doesn't matter. First of all, it doesn't cost you anything.
That's the number one thing, and that's the most important thing.
Even if it did, it's
I don't care.
Around. It's like 2 seconds of the interest we pay every day.
But can we talk about the feminine qualities of our president for a minute, okay?
Everything is so gay.
Yes.
No offense,
but yes.
Ballrooms and gold everything.
Oh, the millwork on the walls and everything. He's so proud of it.
It's a very butch administration. and Hegseth with the, we want no gays. We just want well-shaved, strapping young men in perfect shape.
Same.
The whole thing is
it's amazing. It really is.
It's very gay.
But, so you have this going on the federal level, which is bad enough. But as you and I both know as Californians, we get a double whammy of experiencing the incompetence of leadership in our state. And so I feel like I find myself in this really interesting position of experiencing what corrupt Democratic leadership looks like and how disastrous it is. And then on a federal level, I'm not, loving a lot of what's been happening recently with the Trump administration.
No.
And I understand Americans who have just completely written off politics. They don't vote, they don't engage. I think that's a mistake, but I understand where that's coming from.
I feel the same.
I just don't know how to fix it. I don't know if it's fixable.
It's not, as long as there's smartphones, but because that just is making us ever stupider. And people don't know anything anyway. So, they've completely lost the thread with education. But can I tell you, you're talking about California.
Yep.
You're from here, right?
Yes, born and raised.
Okay. So here's a fire story. In January when the fire hit, Matt Gaetz was the scheduled guest. I think it was January 7th. And he drove through the fire to get here, to keep the booking.
Wow.
I've had people cancel bookings for nothing. And then we chatted here right up until the evacuation order came.
No way.
Yeah,
Good for him. That's actually really impressive. No, but seriously.
Well, as my catch line is always, everybody's a monster till you talk to them.
Yeah.
And then there are certain things you're obviously going to still disagree about. You know, I mean, Laura Trump was here like last show we did, and you know, as all these shows with the Republicans, I mean, they take their beating like a man. They never ever like get upset when we go back, and I mean, there must have been 6 to 8 major things that, you know, I just pushed back on, you know, and 2 minutes later we're laughing, and there's a way to do it where you just cannot expect, you just can't have that attitude of, you must come around to my way of thinking, or you're dead to me, unfriend you, cut you off, no Thanksgiving for you. It just doesn't work. Even if it was the right thing to do, which it is not, because you are not God and you don't know what the answer is. And again, imagine 10 reasons why they think differently. People are different. They grew up in different parts of the country. They have a different thing that was put in their head as a child, different personalities. A lot of politics is your personality. People are sometimes just born square. You're a square. What party are you going to be? You're going to be in the square party. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just, to hate them for that is just, it's cuckoo.
I mean, I don't, there's very few people that I hate. I think I can maybe name one. But for me, it's about a person's actions and whether or not they are wittingly hurting others and totally okay with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good standard.
Yeah. And I love political debate. I really do. And I forget oftentimes when I'm engaged in a passionate, you know, political debate that not everyone thinks the way I do, because I'm able to get as fiery as we need to as we're, you know, arguing. But once the debate's over, it's over, right? We just had a policy debate. Like, it doesn't, just because we have different points of view doesn't mean that I'm gonna write you off and I'm done with you. I've had fiery debates on the show I host and executive produce, The Young Turks, you know, with the CEO of the company and founder, Cenk Uygur. We don't agree on everything, but we have this ability to sometimes get into shouting matches. And then once we're done with the shouting match, we're done. It's past us, you know? And
that's good practice for marriage.
Actually, yeah, it is.
Isn't
It is, totally. Because at the end of the day, you're talking to a human being. You're fighting and arguing with a human being. And to like distill them as one political viewpoint and nothing more, I think is unfair to them. And people change, by the way. I've changed, right? And going through that evolution has made me far more empathetic to people overall.
Change is good.
Change is excellent.
You know, I mean, there's nothing stupider in politics than people who say, well, he's changed his position. Yeah, he was 18.
Yeah,
he grew.
Totally.
You know, he got new information came along. Flip-flop, flip-flop. You know,
totally.
If it's generated by logic, flip-flop is good. It means you grew, you learned something new.
Totally.
You went with the facts. You weren't stuck in, no, I believed it when I was 12 and I believe it now. Girls have cooties. That's my position.
It's ridiculous. I mean, also, it's okay to change your mind if you won, the policies you want have been implemented, and it turns out the policies suck and you don't like them, right? I mean, it's okay to admit, oh, this didn't work out, let's recalibrate. And that was my big issue with Democrats and California in particular, where it's like, oh, we have done some of these criminal justice reforms and they've been kind of disastrous.
Oh, so much. I mean, if I could list just the things that the left has done that they think are helping, that are counter to their own goals.
They're literally getting people
That's how much your head is up your ass. You know, defunding the police,
well,
which, you know, like didn't help African Americans who usually want more police, not corrupt police.
It's even worse than that.
But that,
it's even worse than
they want more police. It's so racist. They think they're being anti-racist, and actually it's being very racist to assume that black people, it's saying, well, aren't they the criminals? We can't have a lot of cops around them. No, they're not.
So a really good friend of mine who does consulting for media, like would send me polls. And the polls were about, you know, Black Americans and how they feel about policing and what they want. Do they want to defund policing? Do they want to keep the funding levels the same? Do they want to increase policing? And I was shocked. Poll after poll indicated, no, they don't want to cut funding for policing. In fact, the problem they have with policing is that they don't feel that the police force in their community is doing enough to keep them safe in their communities, which is very similar to what was happening in the 1990s. Like if you go back and watch local news reports out of LA, for instance, in the 1990s, one of the biggest complaints from, people living in, at the time it was South Central, now it's considered South LA, one of the biggest complaints was, we don't see enough police keeping our communities safe. And so the data is the data. You can't manipulate hard facts. And for me, when I signed on to criminal justice reform, what I thought I was signing on to was we're going to reform our prisons. Our prisons shouldn't be torturing people. Prison rape shouldn't just be accepted, right? I want this to be more than just punitive. I want to rehabilitate people. I want to have a situation in which they pay the price for their crime, but they're also being rehabilitated so that when they get out, they're able to be productive members of society. We didn't actually do much of that in California. No. There's one prison that's been reformed, and it's actually showing really great results, and I hope that that spreads. But the idea of, we're just not going to punish anyone for pretty much anything is not what I thought I was signing up for. But that's pretty much what we've gotten. And preemptively shutting down, 4 to 5 state prisons without really having a plan in place for what happens to oftentimes violent inmates was a disastrous idea by Gavin Newsom, to be honest.